I have something to lean on today. Also, I have some digestives. I kind of feel like I owe you a decent video that isn't about my trip to Paris. Sorry about that. So what decent thing will I talk about in this decent video? That would be Doctor Who, of course. How could you even ask such a question? And it's at this point that if you have not seen Doctor Who, Series 7, Episode 1, Asylum of the Daleks, just go away. You really don't want spoilers. Do try your best to see the episode without having been spoiled. Trust me, it will be better in every way. And so go away now. For those of you that are left, I predictably have some opinions. Sorry, that was my door. Starting with the good. Jenna, Louise, Coleman, Oswin, Oswald, Clara, whatever is happening with this thing, I like it. Oswin was such an immediately likeable character. It was just really brilliant. The sort of shock of her being there to start with would have been enough of a surprise and enough of an amazing reveal without what happened at the end, which was just completely unexpected. And also, going to the bad points, kind of I couldn't quite make sense of it. I didn't quite know how it fitted in with the story up to that point, and I thought that the story in the episode overall, to be quite honest, was a bit weak. I mean, I'm still not entirely sure how we went from Daleks being completely extinct to there being one last Dalek in existence in a museum, to there suddenly being a whole armada of them, and now to there being a whole planet full of them. I got the whole thing with the Skittles Daleks, but they don't count. I'm not a fan of the Skittles Daleks. FYI, what I'm calling the Skittles Daleks are the supersized multicoloured Daleks that Stephen Moffat introduced in Victory of the Daleks. So I thought that as an episode, what made it good was the shock reveal of Oswin and the mystery behind that, rather than the general plot. I'm also a bit dubious of the whole Amy-Rory issues that are going down. I'm kind of worried that the whole divorce thing was just put in there to make it seem a bit more interesting. And now it's completely resolved, no one's gonna talk about it ever again and they're all gonna live happily ever after. I hope that doesn't happen, because I feel like it's something that's more complicated than that, or something that should be more complicated than that, because it all happened a bit too quickly for my liking. But at the same time, I do want it fully, properly resolved before they leave in the 5th episode, otherwise I'm gonna worry. I literally am. This is really quite bad. I literally am going to worry about them if they're not happy. So while I don't want them to just forget about this whole thing in the next episode, I do want them to have resolved it most definitely by the 5th episode. I'm also not very impressed with this whole Daleks that look like humans sort of scenario. I don't think that that's something the Daleks would do. When the Daleks go on and on about, like, purity and hating everything that is not Dalek, that is not something that they then go and do. They don't then go and use humans, dead or alive, anything like that. Not impressed. So the other thing that struck me about this episode was that the Doctor didn't really do a lot. Which at first I thought, well, that's a bit pathetic. Like, he doesn't even save the day or anything. He just is angry for a bit and flirts a bit with Oswin. But then thinking about it, I thought, well, why not? Why should the Doctor always be the one who has to come in and save the day and be amazing and all of that? So I actually, on thinking about that, think that that was a good thing, and an interesting thing, definitely. I am aware that overall it doesn't sound like I was the biggest fan of Asylum of the Daleks, which is probably true, but I do overall think it was a good episode and a good opener to the series. And with things like this, they always get better and better every week anyway, so that's just a thing that happens. That's not because this one was bad, the next one should be better. I'm not saying that at all, but just as a general thing, things get better because the next one always has to be bigger and better. I think it was a good story to take at face value, but once you start thinking about it, there were definitely flaws. But some of those flaws could be corrected by later episodes, so it's unfair to judge the episode on that. Because I think first impressions were that it was a pretty amazing episode. Although most of that judgment was based on Oswin and all of the things that go with that. And also, Rory was brilliant in the eggs scene. I loved that. And I loved Rory in that. That was good. That's the note I'm going to end on. Actually, no, I'm gonna end on my digestive. Bye!